envelope sliced through Alex's heart like a jagged knife, its crisp edges mocking the life he'd poured into it. He stared at the elegant script. "You are cordially invited to the union of Ethan and Rebecca," knowing his name wasn't there, buried under layers of floral embossing that hid the betrayal. In that frozen Chicago apartment, rain lashing the windows like accusations, Alex crumpled the paper. His architect's hands, steady from drafting skyscrapers, trembling as the truth sank in. He'd funded every petal, every vow, every dream, only to be erased because loving men made him a ghost in his own family. Alex had always been the fixer, the one who mended cracks before they spiderwebbed into ruins. Growing up in the sprawling suburbs of Naperville, Illinois, where cornfields whispered secrets to the wind, he and Ethan shared a bunk bed fortress against their parents' quiet storms. Dad's long-haul trucking shifts leaving grease stains on the dinner table. Mom's nursing scrubs carrying the faint scent of antiseptic regret. Alex was the big brother by 3 years, the shield who took the blame for Ethan's scraped knees and stolen cookies. Whispering under the covers, "I've got you, little man." Always. It was a promise etched into his bones, one that carried him through high school lockers slammed in his face when whispers of his difference slithered out, through college nights sketching blueprints instead of chasing girls. Through the day, he came out to a kitchen silence so thick it choked him. That silence evolved into avoidance. A polite frost that Dad masked with grunts over Budweiser cans and Mom with 4 smiles over pot roast. But Ethan? Ethan stayed his anchor, the one who'd hugged him fierce that coming out night, muttering, "Doesn't change shit. Bro, you're still my hero." So when Ethan proposed to Rebecca 2 years back, his voice cracking over the phone, "She's the one. Alex." But weddings ain't cheap. Alex didn't hesitate. His firm in downtown Chicago was booming, commissions rolling in for sleek condos that pierced the skyline like defiant fingers. He wired the first check that week, venue deposit for the grand ballroom at the Palmer House, a relic of Gilded Age opulence with chandeliers that dripped light like honeyed tears. It started small. Those contributions, catering tastings at Italian spots in Little Italy, where Alex sampled prosciutto-wrapped figs and nodded approval, his mind already calculating load-bearing walls for the invisible structure of Ethan's happiness. Then bigger, the custom gown from a bridal atelier in Oak Park, ivory silk cascading like a waterfall of forgotten dreams. Its price tag, a quiet gut punch Alex swallowed with a grin. Flowers from a wholesaler in the flower district. Roses in blush and ivory that filled his truck like a bridal procession on wheels. He coordinated the photographer, a wry artist named Jordan with ink-sleeved arms and a camera that captured souls, not just poses. Jordan's laugh was gravelly, his hazel eyes lingering a beat too long during fittings. But Alex chalked it up to professional courtesy, his heart too tangled in brotherly duty to notice the spark. By spring, Alex's ledger read like a love letter to loss, $87,000 in change, every cent a brick in the cathedral of Ethan's future. He joked about it over beers at their old haunt, the Twisted Spoke, a dive bar where neon signs buzzed like fireflies and the jukebox crooned Springsteen anthems of blue-collar heartache. "You're bankrolling my fairy tale, man," Ethan slurred one night, clapping Alex's back hard enough to jolt the foam from their pints. "What would I do without you?" Alex raised his glass, throat tight. "Crash and burn. Probably. But hey, that's what big brothers are for." The invitations went out in late summer, Gold-foiled missives dispatched to Aunt in Milwaukee and cousins in Gary. To Rebecca's sorority sisters scattered like confetti across the Midwest. Alex waited for his, picturing it arriving like a summons to his own redemption, a seat at the head table. Perhaps, where he could watch Ethan pledge forever without the weight of sidelong glances. Instead, the mail slot clicked empty day after day, until Mrs. Hargrove from next door slipped the stray envelope under his door, her arthritic fingers trembling with unspoken pity. "Thought this might be yours, dear," she murmured, eyes averted like she'd glimpsed something profane. He tore it open in the lobby, the marble floor cold under his loafers. And there it was, the omission, vast as Lake Michigan's horizon. No, and guessed for his +1 that wasn't. No nod to the man who'd willed this extravagance into being. Just a void where his name should have bled gold. Alex stumbled upstairs, the stairwell echoing his ragged breaths, and collapsed onto his leather couch. The one he'd salvaged from a demo site, scarred but sturdy. Like him. The rain intensified, drumming a requiem on the panes. As memories flooded, Ethan's first bike, wobbly under summer sun, Alex jogging beside with steadying hands, prom night. When Alex lent his tie because Ethan's was lost in a laundry war, the hospital vigil after Dad's heart scare. Brothers shoulder to shoulder in the fluorescent hum, promising to hold the line. Why now? Why this crowning cruelty? Alex's phone buzzed, Rebecca's save-the-date group chat. A buzz with excitement over cake flavors and string quartet set lists. He scrolled numbly, thumb hovering over the block button, until a new name popped up, Jordan Hale, the photographer. "Hey, man, heard about the big day. You coming? Need a lock in your shots." The words blurred through hot tears. Jordan. That lingering gaze during the venue walkthrough, when he'd brushed Alex's arm adjusting a lens, murmuring, "You see structures others miss." It's beautiful. Alex had laughed it off, heat rising in his cheeks. But now it bloomed into something desperate, a lifeline in the storm. He typed back, fingers flying, "Wouldn't miss it. But looks like they might miss me." The response pinged instant. "What? That's bullshit. Meet for coffee? My treat." Figure this out. Alex hesitated, the envelope's shard still biting his palm, then hit send on his address. 30 minutes later, Jordan arrived at the corner cafe, rain-slicked leather jacket slung over his broad shoulders, camera bag thumping against his hip like a faithful sidearm. He was 35 to Alex's 38, built like a weekend hiker, lean muscle from hauling gear up Appalachian trails, with a jaw shadowed by perpetual stubble and eyes that crinkled at the corners like well-worn map folds. They ordered lattes, steam curling like question marks, and Alex spilled it all, the checks, the silences, the excision from the guest list. Jordan listened without interruption, his photographer's patience capturing every flicker of pain, until Alex trailed off, voice raw. I thought blood was thicker, that it'd mean something." Jordan reached across the scarred oak table, his calloused fingers, rough from shutter clicks, covering Alex's. "It does mean something. To me. Right now. It means you're the strongest damn fool I've met. Paying for a party that shuts you out? That's not love. That's leverage. But you're worth more than their fairy tale." The touch lingered, electric as a live wire, and Alex felt the dam crack. For the first time in years, vulnerability wasn't a solo vigil. It was shared, witnessed. They talked until the barista flipped the close sign. Jordan sharing snippets of his own scars. A conservative Kentucky upbringing where his first boyfriend was a furtive summer fling ended by shotgun sermons. The freelance grind that left him couch surfing Chicago winters. I shoot weddings to remind myself love's possible, Jordan said, voice low. Even when it's messy. Especially then. Alex nodded, the rain easing to a patter. And, as they stepped into the night, shoulders brushing under shared umbrella, he wondered if this was the real invitation, the one that mattered. But dawn brought the backlash. Ethan's call pierced the quiet, voice laced with defensiveness. Alex, it's not like that. Mom and Dad. They're old school. Rebecca's folks, too. They think it'll complicate things. Complicate. The word landed like a slap, reducing Alex's existence to a footnote glitch. I paid for it all. Ethan. Every goddamn crystal stem. And now, I'm the complication, silent stretched, taut as piano wire. Look, it's family. You get it. Just skip it this once. We'll do dinner after. Dinner. As if a meal could mortar the chasm. Alex hung up, chest heaving, and turned to the blueprints spread across his drafting table, a high-rise proposal for a queer youth center in Boys Town. Lines curving like open arms. It was his rebellion. This project, walls that welcomed, not walled off. Jordan texted coordinates for a hike in the Indiana dunes that weekend. Fresh air for fresh starts. Alex packed his boots, the ones scuffed from boyhood treks with Ethan, and drove south, the lake's vast blue mirroring his turmoil. They met at the trailhead, Jordan in cargo shorts and a faded REI tee that hugged his chest, offering a thermos of spiked cider for the chills, literal and otherwise. The path wound through whispering pines, dunes rising like frozen waves. And as they crested the first ridge, Alex unloaded the rest, the microaggressions masked as concern. The holidays where he'd been seated at the kids' table long after outgrowing it. The way Ethan's texts had cooled from daily memes to obligatory check-ins post-engagement. Jordan stopped at an overlook, the lake sprawling endless below, and pulled Alex into a hug that smelled of earth and cedar cologne. You're not invisible. Alex. Not to me. Their lips met tentative, then fierce. Salt of unshed tears mingling with the wind's brine. It was messy, glorious, a kiss born of dunes and defiance. Hands tangling in hair as gulls wheeled overhead. For hours, they wandered, bodies rediscovering touch like cartographers charting lost coasts, laughter bubbling through grief. That night, in Jordan's cramped studio apartment overlooking the lakefront, they made love slow and deliberate, every caress a vow against erasure. Stay, Jordan whispered after, fingers tracing Alex's spine. Build something here. With me. Alex woke to sunlight slanting through blinds, Jordan's arm heavy across his waist. And for a moment, the wedding was a distant thunder. But reality intruded via voicemail. Mom? Voice quavering. Sweetheart. Ethan's beside himself. He didn't mean. Please. Call me. For us. The plea twisted like barbed wire. Call me. But not as himself. Come as the palatable version. The brother without the lifestyle stain. He dressed quietly, Jordan stirring with sleepy concern. Tell them no, he urged, brewing coffee strong as resolve. Or tell them everything. Alex kissed him fierce, tasting future on his tongue, then drove back to the city, resolve hardening like setting concrete. The week blurred into frenzy, site visits for the youth center, where rainbow flags fluttered like beacons, late nights with Jordan, their worlds overlapping in shared playlists of hosier ballads and takeout Thai from a hole in the wall on Halstead. Yet the wedding loomed, a guillotine shadow. Alex drafted a response to Ethan's frantic texts, variations of "I'm family too," deleting each with a sigh. Until Friday, when a tuxedo rental confirmation pinged his email. A cruel auto-reminder from the tailor. He forwarded it to Jordan with a single emoji, a broken heart. Jordan replied instant, "Screw the tux. Wear what makes you feel invincible. I'll be there." Lens ready to capture truth. Saturday dawned crisp. October gold painting the elms lining Michigan Avenue. Alex stood before his mirror, selecting not the rented finery, but his own armor, a tailored charcoal suit from his firm's holiday gala. Crisp white shirt unbuttoned at the collar to reveal the silver chain Ethan had gifted him for his 21st, engraved Brothers Forever. He added a pocket square in rainbow silk, subtle as a secret, defiant as dawn. Jordan picked him up in his battered Jeep, camera slung like a talisman. "You look like justice," he said, stealing a kiss that tasted of mint and mischief. They drove to the Palmer house in companionable silence, the city yielding to wedding bustle, limos disgorging guests in pastel sheaths, valets juggling corsages like fragile ordinances. The lobby swirled with perfume and murmurs, crystal clinking like distant bells. Alex's pulse thrummed as they ascended to the ballroom, Jordan's hand a steady anchor at his elbow. No one glanced twice. He was just another well-dressed stranger in the throng. But as they crested the grand staircase, there Ethan, resplendent in black tie, Rebecca radiant in her gown, the one Alex had approved in swatches of lace. Their eyes locked across the mezzanine, Ethan's widening in shock, then narrowing in something like shame. "Alex," he hissed, weaving through the crowd, Rebecca trailing like a hesitant comet. "What the hell? I told you. You told me to vanish," Alex cut in, voice low thunder. "But this is my vanishing point. Ethan, I built this with you, brick by invisible brick. You don't get to unmake me." Rebecca shifted, bouquet trembling, her eyes darting to the rainbow glint. "We didn't. It's not personal, but it was profoundly so." Mom appeared then, pearls clutched like rosaries, Dad hulking behind with a scowl that could curdle milk. "Son," she started, but Alex held up a hand, the room's chatter fading to a hum. "It's all personal, Mom. Every dollar, every doubt. I loved you enough to fund your fairy tale. But love's not a transaction. It's this." He pulled Jordan forward, their fingers interlacing bold as brass. "It's choosing to show up." Whole, gasps rippled. A conservative aunt murmuring scandal, but Ethan stepped closer, face crumpling. "I was scared. Okay, of Dad's lectures, of losing the family photo op perfect. But you're the best part of me, Alex. Always were." The admission hung, fragile as spun sugar, and, for a heartbeat, the chasm bridged. The ceremony unfolded in a haze of vows and violins. Alex claiming a back pew with Jordan, their thighs pressed in silent solidarity. He watched Ethan pledge eternity, tears tracing silent paths, not from exclusion now, but from the raw beauty of flawed forgiveness. As rings exchanged and rice rained, Jordan squeezed his hand. Proud of you. Post-reception. Under star-pricked skies in Grant Park. Ethan found them by the bean, its mirrored curve reflecting 1,000 fractured selves. I'm sorry, he choked, pulling Alex into a bear hug that smelled of cologne and cake. The tab? On me. And you, both of you, family. For real. Months later, the youth center ribbon cut gleamed under June's sun, walls alive with murals of intertwined hands. Alex stood beside Jordan, now his partner in blueprints and bedsheets, as Ethan toasted with champagne flutes. To brothers, he said, eyes clear, and the loves that make us brave. In that circle of reclaimed kin, Alex felt the structure settle, not perfect, but enduring. Love, he knew, wasn't paid in full. It was rebuilt, one honest beam at a time.